Hello, everyone. This is Jenny, introducing Jenny. Jenny is an empowering motivational speaker with a goal of helping people find their confidence again after encountering hardship in life. So, the confidence theme is really ringing strong in this summit. She uses a variety of stories and lessons to help uncover what has damaged self confidence and provides insight into how to move past it and find success within oneself. A highly motivated certified high performance coach, Jenny focuses on executive and life coaching. She has a passion for helping others overcome obstacles in their past that are hindering their success. Jenny is also the founder of the YouTube channel Unconventional Coach. And I think your topic today is the power of you finding confidence through self expression.
Yes, and I do have to share my screen. So,
Okay, so I shall take myself off. You can share.
okay,
Yeah, you can share. You've got the ability to share.
hold on. Give me 1 second.
It's okay.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes,
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay, so thank you for having me, and thank you to everybody who's here. Danielle, that was an amazing presentation. I was thoroughly touched by that, and I'm really excited to go after you because I feel ours kind of complement each other. Women are very, very powerful humans. We go through our lives carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, doing everything we can for other people, and often letting ourselves go by the wayside. We give, 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 and then eventually lose track of who we are. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And it all starts in childhood, in the beginning. In childhood, we work very hard to learn our morals and our values from our families and from our parents. Ideally, it's a happy time, but not always. Some kids celebrate when they do things right, some worry when they get it wrong. It's really difficult, but childhood is where our true selves are formed. It's where we're forming what our basic likes and dislikes are. It's where we're forming our initial relationships with those around us. It's really where we're learning to say things that we want for ourselves. Then our teenage years hit. We move into the realm of cliques. Who do we want to hang out with? Do we want to hang out with the jocks, the theater kids? Do we want to hang out with the alt people? That was a huge thing when I was in school. The grunge people hanging out. Um, we buy clothes and we change the way we talk and act to fit in with those groups. Sometimes we end friendships to fit in with the crowd. I remember very clearly one day in middle school, I was sitting there with this group of girls that I really desperately wanted to be friends with. I don't know why to this day, but I remember getting up and going to somebody who was my very dear friend and telling her that I did not want to be friends with her anymore because those popular girls did not like her. And the second I did it, I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyways. She never forgave me. I had to learn to forgive myself for that. But it was a very pivotal moment in my life on what I would and would not do to fit in with other people. And child or teenage years are very difficult for most people. It's when you're going through puberty, hormones are changing, your mind is just racing with all these things that you're just trying to figure out. And so we're always changing and shifting things that we think are right, and they're not always. And then some of us move on to college. You may try to join a sorority or a club on campus, right? We develop new thoughts and ideas because we're out of the house for the first time. And with this newfound freedom, we are still so easily influenced. We're influenced by our roommates, we're influenced by our new friend groups, we're influenced by sports groups that we belong to or other clubs. We develop new thoughts and new ideas. And this world is so big and new and confusing. And we start shifting and changing to fit in as we try to find ourselves. So you can see the pattern is continuing. This new set, every step of our lives we move through, we're shifting on how we feel we should be to fit in with other people. Next is the workplace. You automatically have to give up part of your individuality at work because it's a professional atmosphere. It
Sorry,
doesn't
Jane,
matter.
your slides are not changing. Are you changing them?
Nope, I'm not changing them yet.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry.
You'll notice when they do. This is just entertaining photos of my weird self. So when you're in the workplace, like I said, you're automatically changing who you are for other people because it's a professional environment. It doesn't matter what your job is. You could be a teacher, you could be a janitor, you could be a corporate person, but you still have to give up a tiny bit of your own personality because you have to fit into whatever that environment requires of you. And often we become two separate people. Does anybody relate to that? How you're separate at home as you are at work? It's a huge thing. We have our work persona and we have our home persona, and we continue to push down our own individuality to fit the group. I've often been told I'm kind of weird. And so when I was at work, I was very cognizant of that fact. And I really tried to dress in a certain way. I have a corporate job. So I tried to dress in a certain way to fit in with everybody. And I just felt stifled. It was really not comfortable. We can feel that discomfort, especially if there's a large difference between who we are at home and who we are at work. And they often don't match, right? Eventually, I ended up changing. I'm 50 now. I ended up changing a bit of how I dressed at work, still professional, but I brought a bit of my own personality back because that was important to me to have that little bit of myself during the workday, even if it wasn't what necessarily fit in. Now let's talk about dating life. How many of you have felt pressured to dress or talk a certain way when you go on that first date because you want it to go well? I remember that. At first, we shift our personality or the way we dress or talk for that one day. We're on that one date, right? You want everything to be perfect. Sometimes it continues on into the relationship. We feel pressured to keep up with the idea of that us, that ourself that we put out there. And it feels easier to just keep that version of yourself and let them think that's who you are than to actually be who you really want to be. All because we're trying to fit what we think that person wants of us. Some people get married, and that might bring more of the same. Many women will take on the hobbies of their spouse. You'll see it a lot. You'll see, for example, if you don't like sports and your spouse likes them. So then you'll start to get involved in them and talk about them, even though you really have no interest in it, because that's what they think you should be doing for them or for their friends to make you more part of that group environment, right? You might enjoy these hobbies that they do, but oftentimes it's not your norm, it's not what matters to you. And so we start to lose a little bit more of who we are. Interestingly enough, it does not always go in the reverse. You don't often see the husbands taking on the hobbies of their wife. It's the wife taking on the hobbies of the husband. Our rules in marriage or relationships might shift too, excuse me, our roles. Some of us might go to work, some of us might stay home. It's really what you have to do. We may be the breadwinner, we may not. But we put on a different face for our neighbors and for our friends. It's not bad. Changing or adopting to this part of life is normal, it's natural, but we're still making those shifts. And what if we have children? Children is a big deal for a lot of people, and we must be the best mom that we can. We start to have all of our interests disappear and we start focusing on what our children are doing. If they're in theater, if they're in sports, any subject that they have that they do outside of the school, that's where we're spending all of our time, right? And that's normal. But have any of you ever been in the drop-off line at school or at a school function and started comparing yourselves to the other moms? I know I have. I've been sitting there at like a school function for our 4-H, which is where they learn farming and stuff like that. And I see this group of moms over there, and they're all talking amongst themselves. I'm like, I don't fit in at all with any of these people. And so I noticed that I would start to talk about the things that they were talking about, even though I had absolutely zero interest in it, because I wanted to fit in with that mom group, right? I don't know why. I'm a grown woman. I should know. I should have my own interests. But something in me was telling me, Jenny, you have to belong to this group. You must shift who you are for these women. And you start to compare yourselves to them all the time. At every single stage of our lives, we are adjusting, shifting, and seeking to fit in. None of these things are bad individually, but we could easily lose our sense of self. And then at some point, we wake up, we look in the mirror, and we say, who am I? We start to question, are these really my interests? Do I really want this job? How much have I changed myself to fit in with somebody else's idea of who I should be? This is the moment that our change begins. This is when we decide to start expressing our true selves. This is when we decide who we want to be and how we want to show up in the world. And the decision to become the woman we want to be starts in one small moment. The moment we are looking in the mirror, and that moment is when we begin to wake up. We begin to claim ourselves again, and we begin to say, I matter to me. And personally, I have always loved the idea of not being what people expect me to be. The small shifts began when I started decorating my office how I wanted it to be, dressing professional but in my own style. I stopped being the yes man and started speaking up. When we were in meetings, I would no longer hide. I would be like, I have something to say here, and I would say it. But I still had to learn to accept and love me as a person, to find value in who I am as an individual. We can change how we present ourselves to the world, but until we accept ourselves for who we really are, we're stuck. And I needed to find a way through self expression to find joy in myself, love myself, and reclaim who I am. But how? I remember one day I was sitting in the lobby of my daughter's dance school. And this dance school has classes for children or for adults only, right? And I was sitting there, I was lost. I hadn't really been who I wanted to be for a long time. And I was playing on my phone or whatever at the time. This was like 6, 7 years ago. And I saw these women walk through to go into one of these dance studios. And they were dressed in beautiful, sparkly outfits with all these feathers and makeup and these big, giant feather fans. And I was like, oh, I want that for me. It was so beautiful. I just knew that that's where I belonged. And so dance found me. To me, dance is an expression of yourself. It's reaching down inside you, pulling out that true version of you and putting it out in a story, in the costumes, in the song. You're really just telling who you are as your unique individual within inside you. It's creative, it's uplifting, it's a celebration of life. And I learned how to love myself again as I am right now. I didn't wait for the perfect body. I let my hair turn gray. I did not care that I was not the size 0 person. I wanted to dance. And so I did. And I've tried all different kinds of styles, and I absolutely love it. And I remember the day of my very first performance. I had done a virtual one in 2020, but that was during COVID. And so this one was in 2021, and it was live. And I had choreographed the whole thing, picked the costume. It was a burlesque routine. So I'm standing there out in the hallway while waiting for my music, right? Waiting for my turn to go. And I hear the music start, and I'm thinking, oh my God, there's like real people out there. These real people are watching me. I'm like freaking out, going, oh no, what did I do? Why am I doing this? Can I stop? No, you can't, right? Because you signed up to do the show. So I hear the music and I walk out and I start dancing, and I didn't see anybody. There was nobody in the room. I just heard the music and I felt myself going through the moves, and I felt light and free. I felt like I was telling my story through what I was doing, through the dance, and it was absolutely amazing. I never once noticed any of the people in the room. It was just me. And it's not about being beautiful or sexy for the other people. Not at all. It's about capturing that belief for me. Because if we don't appreciate our own beauty, our own unique individuals, nobody else will. We need to start accepting ourselves for who I am, for who we are. Yes, I'm still a wife and a mom and a professional, but now I have reclaimed who I am. So you might be asking, well, Jenny, what do I do? How do I find myself again through self expression? First, you need to reach back inside yourself, and I want to try an exercise with you that I call the power of you. So, first, I would like you to make sure you're muted because I'm going to have you say stuff out loud, and it would be kind of awkward if everybody hears you. So, everybody, make sure you're muted really quick. Okay, let's get comfortable. If you're standing up, I would suggest sitting down for this because you're going to have your eyes closed and sometimes you lose your balance. So get relaxed. Um, I'm going to have you close your eyes and I will tell you when to open them again because we're going to go through a little visualization technique right now. So, everybody get comfortable, put their hands in their lap and close their eyes. And I want you to picture yourself as a young girl. Imagine what you would have looked like back then, what kind of clothes you would be wearing, what your hair would look like. Where would you be? Would you be outside playing? Would you be sitting in your room? Picture yourself. Now I want you to say out loud one thing you love about you as that little girl. Say it out loud. Keep your eyes closed. Now I want you to picture yourself as you are today. What are you wearing? What jewelry do you have on? Where are you at in your room, in the space you're sitting in? What does your hair look like? Can you see yourself? Now I want you to say out loud one thing that you are proud of yourself for. Keep your eyes closed. Now I want you to imagine your future self. How do you want to feel? Where do you want to be? Do you have a talent you want to embrace? A new hobby? Now I want you to put your hand on your heart and say out loud, I give you permission to, and say that thing.
I give you permission.
Now open your eyes. Saying those things out loud gives them power and it makes them real. If we just think them in our minds, think them in our heads, it's just an idea. But when you give those words power, that is where your magic happens and that is where your true self starts to come out. We can't shrink from loving ourselves because if we do, we can't change. And now it is time to find your path back to yourself through self-expression. Self-expression is a unique and personal pursuit. It is different for everybody. Dance is my path, but it might not be yours. So reclaim a hobby that you had. Try the career you always wanted. If you can, move somewhere or travel somewhere that you've always dreamed of. Finding something that makes you feel alive and free, something that touches your soul, is how you get back to who you are. Because you're just hidden inside right now. You're not gone. You're just hidden inside because we've been chained so long for other people. And remember, this is your self-expression. Now is the moment, and now is the time to reclaim yourself. You can see any number of examples on here. These are just random things to think about. But there was always something that you loved doing. There was always something that made you happy. So do it again. Go try that again. I created a framework that I wanted to share with you today to remind you how valuable and beautiful you are. And it's something that you should reflect on as you go through the day or the week. Believe in yourself again. It is fantastic to be single, to be married, to be a mom or not, to be a professional or not. It is absolutely wonderful to love your life as it is now, but don't forget to believe in you. You are strong, capable, smart, and beautiful. Enjoy life. Life isn't just to live, it's to enjoy. Find your passions again. Live them. Laugh. Dance in the rain. Embrace your inner child. Stop what you're doing and breathe. Joy is so important. And if you don't take those tiny moments to just breathe and appreciate the wonder and awe around you, you're going to get bogged down in everything that's going on during the day. Applaud yourself. Celebrate your moments, big and small, not just those of people around you. It boosts your confidence. No one cheers your wins if you don't do so first yourself. This is something that I had to learn over a long period of time. I would do something and I'd be like, well, why aren't they, congratulating me? Why aren't they telling me, good job, Jenny, you did that thing? They don't have to. I have to. I have to be proud of what I did and proud of what I've gone through and proud of what I've accomplished. So you need to do that for yourself. Don't look for the validation from your children, from your friends, from your spouse. It needs to come from you first. Yes, it's wonderful when they celebrate you, but celebrate yourself first and foremost. And be unique. You do not have to fit the mold like everyone else. I can promise you that. I fit absolutely no molds. I am weird, quirky. I don't care. That's me. And if you don't like me, you can go, because that is my personal self. Be nerdy, be weird, be quiet, laugh loudly from your gut, but most importantly, do it your own way. You do not have to hide from being who you really are anymore. Thank yourself. Be grateful to your body, mind, and spirit. It may not be perfect, but it's yours. We might not be the perfect size we want to be. We might be older. We might have gray hair. We might have wrinkles. But it's okay because it's your body. It gets you through the day. You wake up every day and that is what you have. That is your vessel. So thank yourself for being who you are, for having the health and the self that you have. You don't need to have anybody else's appearance. And say yes to your wants and needs. You matter just as much as anyone else around you. Never forget that. You need to matter to you. Now, I want to read you a quote from a book called Wild Courage, Go After What You Want and Get It by Jenny Wood. So give me a moment to put on my super awesome spectacles. Okay. While you care deeply about the people you love and will help the occasional stranger in need, you also have things you want to do in your finite life, things you want to experience and accomplish. That's your agenda, and it's just as worthy and valid as anyone else's. This is so important to me because we might not always have tomorrow. We can plan for it. We can have all these ideas of things we want to do in the future, but our tomorrows are limited. So if you keep waiting to do what you want to do and to be who you are, you might run out of time. So please keep that in your mind while we're going through things, that anything you want and you desire in your life and for yourself is valid, is worthy, is important, and you should be doing it right now. And always remember that self-expression is never about making others love you more. It's about loving yourself again. It's very, very important. So thank you for being you. And please, as you leave this summit, after you've heard all these wonderful women speak, always remember that as much as we love and cherish other people and cherish things we can do and provide for them, provide for yourself and cherish yourself as well. So thank you. Let me stop sharing.
Great. So I put, I know you've had your, what they call now, the codes.
Mm-hmm.
What they called now? I forgot. It's just escaped me. The back, not the codes, but the whatever.
The journal
You
and the
had,
link? Yeah.
but yeah, you had the links in the thing. So I'll put the links in the chat. So the free
Mm-hmm.
journal with guided prompts in the chat, and also the offer. So 20% off 3 months of one-to-one high performance
Yes.
live executive coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great.
Would you like
Daima
to?
has her hand up. Do you have a
I'm sorry?
question, Daima? Daima, do you have a question?
Hi, yes, sorry. I just wanted to say thank you for the wonderful presentation. But I also, first of all, I love that picture of you in the beginning standing next to the truck.
Oh,
You
thank
you
you.
look like I don't know. It reminded me of like a powerful ballerina because of the long
Thank
skirt
you.
and hair. So I thought that was great. But I also wanted to say when you mentioned uh, your dance performance and then just focusing on yourself, that's a very real thing. You got to block everything else out. And
Yeah.
you also said that it's not about being beautiful or sexy. It's about being confident who you are. But when you do that, it actually is beautiful and sexy. You know, it's like there's nothing like being confident. You know, I think every being is attracted to it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like when we close ourselves off and then we start to let the voices become louder than what they need to be, then that doesn't
Yeah.
show. It's a repellent. So
Mm-hmm.
when you do all those wonderful things, it is very beautiful. It's very attractive. It doesn't matter what size you are, how old you are, or anything else. So I just wanted to say that and thank you. Thank you for sharing yourself.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you appreciated it.
Yeah, I mean the dance photos were lovely. I loved them too.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to chime in on all of that. That stopped me from packing. I was like, oh my God, the story's amazing. I'm going, she's speaking every woman's language because we've all been there. And it's so true. You have your work persona, your home persona, your
Mm-hmm.
church persona, wherever. And it's really not being true to ourselves. And we're also
Right.
not being true to the people who we are,
Mm-hmm.
communicating or being face to face to. So thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate you, Miss Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other
So
questions?
I can't see any questions now.
Okay.
So